Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut Craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. In today's video, we are going to make this really cute personalized Starbucks mug. This is one of their reusable plastic cups for their cold beverages, and we are going to add a little logo around their logo as well as a little Olaf onto the back. We're going to use the new Starcraft HD vinyl. I'm going to show you guys what that vinyl looks like right now. Starcraft HD, it stands for high durability. Because the vinyl is permanent, it's adhesive, and it's rated to last 5 to 6 years, which is a super long time. This vinyl works on indoor and outdoor surfaces, so it's great for car decals, cups, mugs, Yeti tumblers, lots of great things. It's best to be used on solid surfaces. Really great for your tile coasters, which I love. It is a calendared vinyl, which means it's a high quality product. Now the release liner is what makes this one especially fun for me, and I really appreciate it because it is silicone coated paper. So it offers you a stronger hold for when you weed, so your small pieces don't come up with the rest of your vinyl. It's really easy to weed, and you will see that as I weed some of these teeny tiny pieces. This is a clear acrylic pressure sensitive vinyl, so it means that it is a adhesive vinyl. You will need to make sure that, just like all others, you let this cure for 48 to 72 hours before you use it. The shelf life is 2 years on this, and that's in ideal storage conditions, which it's pretty much the same for all vinyl. You want to keep it at about 70 degrees with 50% humidity. Any storage outside or in very cold conditions or very, very hot conditions can lessen the life of any vinyl. All 41 colors that you can get in the Starcraft HD are available in both glossy and matte, which I think is absolutely awesome. And they are exact color matches, which I think is really cool because you can mix and match them if you want to, which gives you kind of a different look. And I also really love the matte because a lot of times some of the things that you want to put them on, the glossy is just, it stands out too much. So this just gives you a lot of color options. Starcraft HD is designed to work better for crafting just because of the different formula they used to have a little stronger hold on the release liner than some of the other signed vinyl in the same class. It allows you to do better weeding and cut smaller pieces without them pulling up, like I said earlier. I have cut very, very small things on this and really have noticed a huge, huge difference in that. One of the things I also love, and I'm going to show you guys, is we have white vinyl and cream vinyl. The thing with their cream is that it's not yellowish like some of the other ones that I have bought. This is definitely like an off-white, which can come in handy for a lot of things when you don't want it to be bright white. And you'll see that we're going to use the Rose Gold Metallic when we do this. This is a PVC vinyl, and it's not metallicized like other vinyls, like the Starcraft Metals or the Magic. So this is like a true rose gold. It's awesome. And I love the grid on the back of these because it is 1 inch grid is instead of like the metric that a lot of the other ones use. So measuring the back is so much easier. So let's get started, and we'll head over to Design Space so I can show you how to make your cup. I'm going to give you all the measurements and we can get a great cup made. First, I'm going to show you guys how to do the Starbucks logo, and all the measurements will be put in the description down below. But first, you're going to start out with 2 circles, and you can either just duplicate or click 2 circles. You're going to change 1 circle to 3.567 inches. And the second circle, you're going to make 3.35 inches. And then you would need to line these up. So you want to center them. This is going to be your outside ring for your logo. So select both of them, click on Align, and click Center. And then you want to slice. You can get rid of the circles or just reuse them, which is always kind of nice. That way I don't have to make a second set. So what I do is these are going to be my inner circle. So you need, again, 2 circles. You need one at 3.24 inches. And then you need one at, oops, and make sure you select the correct one. And then the other one you need at 2.1 inches. You are going to slice these 2 out of each other as well. And this is going to be your inner ring. And then this will be where your Starbucks logo goes. So let's go ahead and center those. You always want to make sure you align them center before you slice. Go ahead and slice them, and you don't need this centerpiece anymore, so you can just go ahead and get rid of it. And then you're going to take these 2 pieces, and you'll do the same thing where you're going to align them and center them. I'm going to weld them because we are going to slice out the letters out of this. So we want to make sure that we can easily do that. Because if you don't weld it, you have to make sure you select just the inside circle. If you've welded it, you don't have to worry about it. You can just go on with your life. So we're going to do a Frozen theme. So we're going to do Olaf's, and then we'll do Frozen coffee around the bottom. Now, I recommend using a very blocky font for this because it just looks a little bit better when you cut it. Arial Black is probably one of my favorites for it, but you can pretty much use whatever you want. And I have a bunch of different fonts, so I may go through and kind of see what I like. Impact is also a really good one for this. I like to make sure that it's easy to read and see. And when you're doing these, sometimes if you use too much of like a swirly font or anything that's just a little bit too crazy, it's hard to see. You can always capitalize it too if you would rather have everything kind of stand out a little bit more. You can absolutely do it in all capitals. So I think I'll do that. And I'm going to change the color of this just so I can see it better. And that's not where I meant to click. I'm going to just change the color really quick just so I can see it better. I think the black sometimes is hard to see against the dark gray. Now I'm going to curve it before I change its size. So what we'll do is open the curve and we are going to just pull it down. And then we're going to resize it a little bit to get it to fit within our circle. Not always the easiest, and sometimes you're going to have to kind of play with it a little bit, move it around, and you do have a full circle here, so sometimes you just need to kind of mess with it, and you can expand it, you can make it bigger, whatever you need to do to try to get it to fit in. And like I said, sometimes you have to just kind of mess with it a little bit as far as like sizing and where it sits and things like that. There's not like a golden rule to size on this because you'll see that like it's too tall now, but it fits nicely the other way. So what you can always do if you choose is you can unlock it and then reduce its height. It's going to make your letters a little shorter, but I think it can help sometimes. If you didn't like that you did that, you just click undo and click undo until your letters are back to their normal height and size. And whoops, I didn't mean to unlock it. I'm going to mess around with this just a little bit more, see if I can get it to fit a little bit better. It's a little hard with these short words sometimes. Sometimes I feel like longer words are a little bit easier to work with. Now, if it's bugging you and it's driving you crazy and you want it perfectly centered, select both items. And for this one, you're going to go ahead and do them centering them horizontally. And it'll move your word over so that it is centered on your circle. I think that looks pretty good. It's going to be some thin lines right here, but I think that's probably okay. I might make it just a little bit smaller. I don't like that. I'm going to undo it. I think it was fine the way it was. It's a little bit, like I said, you're going to have some thin lines, but that's why we're cutting with the Starcraft HD, which is awesome. The stuff's super easy to work with. And the next part we're going to do is do Frozen Coffee, and I'm just going to use the same font, and I don't want the plus in there or the F. It's been a day. So we're going to do Frozen. Oh my goodness, Coffer. I like that. That's a good one. I'm going to change the color on it, and then I'm just going to kind of plop it up here. And this one, we're going to curve it so it goes this direction. So it curves up instead of down. Now, I've noticed Design Space has kind of occasionally been doing this, where like your font will disappear when you hit curve. It's a real pain, but we're going to just have to work with it. I think that's actually pretty close, oddly enough. So I think we just need to space it. And you can use your, this like right here, if you want to just like move it little bits, you can use your arrows, or you can use the little, numbers, and you can totally like size it down a little bit. I'm going to size this down a little and see if I can get it to fit. Again, a lot of this is just kind of playing with it. And sometimes you can, if you resize before you hit the, curve, it can help. So if you ever just want to go back and like resize it to like regular and where it was, just change your curve to 0 and it's going to put it back into, whoopsies, grabbed the wrong thing. It's going to put it back into your box, and you can resize it down a little bit if you want to. And again, this part literally is just kind of playing with it, trying to get it to where you want it and the size you want it. Now I think that actually, that size of font looks pretty good. Yes, I think that one will work. So again, we're going to want to center this, and I think I might need to size it down a hair, but I'm just going to see what happens when I align. So again, you're going to align it, and you want to center it horizontally, and then you'll just look to make sure that it fits fully on your design. And if you want, you can curve it a little bit more. And like I said, you can use your arrow keys to move it from left to right, and you can use this if you want to change your curve a little bit more. So I want to go maybe like another % curve, or like I want to go like maybe to like a -2. You can do that and you'll see. Now I did make sure to note what mine was at when I liked it, so I'm going to keep it there. I think we'll just go with that. That looks pretty good. We can add snowflakes or whatever we want. And so let's go ahead and add a couple little cutesy snowflakes. We're just going to use some from Design Space. So just search snowflake and then find one that you like. This is probably my favorite one. I think that one looks the most like a frozen snowflake. So you'll size that bad boy down. And it doesn't matter what color we make any of this because we're going to slice it all out because it's all going to show through the cup. So then I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to move this one over here. Now I want to make sure that these two are lined up. So we're going to click on both of those. We're going to align their bottoms, which is right here. And that just makes sure that they're evenly spaced across from each other. Now, what we'll need to do, and this is just a quick tip to save you some time, take all your text and your snowflakes and weld them. It's going to make them one piece. It's going to change them all the same color. But now you'll just be able to slice everything out in one try versus having to do the snowflakes and the words all at different times. So voila, we have our Olaf's frozen coffee. We are going to go ahead and do the next part with Olaf himself. And I'm going to use a Design Space thing that I already bought. I already have an Olaf. I bought him a long time ago. He's like $1.99, so if anybody wants him, he is available in Design Space. We are going to cut him and put him on the cup itself. Now, obviously, the circle gives us kind of an idea of about how big we can make Olaf, because we don't want him huge, and he's not going in the circle. The circle's just giving me kind of an idea on the size of him that I'm going to put on the back of the cup. I think that is pretty gosh darn good. Now, you'll note over here, Olaf has about 47,000 layers that we just don't need. I mean, nobody in their right mind needs these buttons because they're gray on here, but they look totally fine if you just leave them black. So you can absolutely just get rid of that. You can just hit this little eyeball and it makes it go away, which is super nice. So we have his nose and his mouth, then his arms and his hair and his eyebrows, his buttons, which we are not cutting, then his whole white self, and then the whole black background. And we're going to cut this all on the Starcraft matte. I'm going to get a really pretty color to put around our Starbucks, and then we are going to do Olaf with the matte vinyl. So we are going to find a pretty matte for that one, and then we will put Olaf on. So let's click Make It so I can just show you what it looks like really quick. And these are all of our different parts of the cup and Olaf that we are going to cut out. Let's go over to the machine so I can show you guys all of it cutting. We're ready to load our machine. So you cut it just like you would cut any other vinyl. You just put it on your mat. I have a little bit of dog hair on this. And you just load it right in. I do cut this on the vinyl setting. Just plain old vinyl setting with your regular blade. I will say I recommend doing a test cut just because it's a new material. But it seems to cut just fine on vinyl for me. But I would, again, always recommend a test cut. If you don't know what a test cut is, check out my Design Space tips, tricks, and hacks video. It explains it all in there. But we're going to let this bad boy cut out, and I will speed up the video so you guys don't have to sit here and watch it forever. Weeded everything, we need to apply transfer tape. And when we layer, I like to layer on the product because it helps reduce bubbles. A lot of people have been complaining about bubbles, and one of the big things is to not layer on like the backing, but to layer on your product. Now I have a bunch of like random little pieces which will be great for like his mouth and stuff, but I need bigger ones for him and for the logo. So we're gonna open up our transfer tape. Now this is medium tack from 651vinyl.com. I will try to remember to link this transfer tape below, but it's the best. I love this stuff. So we're gonna make sure there's no dog hair, which there was on that, and we're just gonna lay them on our transfer tape. And like I said, I have pieces that'll be good for like the mouth and the nose, but we'll use some of the new stuff for the bigger pieces. So all I do is I lay them face down. I just unroll this and lay them face down. And then I just cut out where the decals are. And I just kind of cut around them. Because you can totally just re-roll your tape. Then we're going to turn this bad boy over. We are going to cut those all apart. Not so easy. We're going to cut these apart, but first I'm just going to do a quick burnish. You don't have to do anything crazy. This tape works really, really well. And with this Starcraft mat, it works amazing. So we're going to go ahead and get these all cut apart. I love this transfer tape because you just get like the edge of your scissors on it and it cuts so nicely. It's so easy to use. I love it. It's my favorite. And I know like in my old videos I used contact paper from the Dollar Tree. Oh my god. Life changing when I got this stuff. So now, like I said, I'm going to use this other stuff that I have. It's like old. I've reused this stuff a couple times. And I'm just going to stick his nose and his mouth on it and just cut those two out. I did cut those pieces a little bit bigger just so that I wouldn't lose them because that nose is teeny tiny. And hopefully you guys saw when I showed you guys while I was weeding how little that nose is. It is like probably less than ½ an inch. It's really, really small. I can totally double check the size, but it was really, really small. So let me move all these out of the way, and I'm going to show you a quick trick when you're working with like a cup because it just wants to like roll, and that makes it really hard to apply a decal. Now I have washed this off with rubbing alcohol. So what I did is I took a blanket in this case. You can use like a towel, a t-shirt, whatever you've got. But I used a towel or a blanket in this case, and I just tuck it down into the towel a little bit, and I rolled the towel on either side or the blanket, and then it holds your cup or your round object super straight, and it's easy to do. So to remove my vinyl from my backing, I will take it and put the transfer tape face down, and then simply peel off the backing. I just find that works a little bit better. Now, to line this up, I'm going to be sorry if my head gets in the way, but I want to make sure I get this lined up really well. And this is easy to line up because you have the little Starbucks lady to help you. I don't know. She probably has like a name of what she is. I know she's a mermaid. But if anybody knows if she has like a name. But I know she is like a coffee mermaid, which I don't fully understand why they used a mermaid. But hey, you do use Starbucks. So we're just going to lay this down. And because of the sizing, this one is really easy to lay down. It doesn't like wrinkle or anything, which I love because I think it's super easy. And we're just going to burnish it down, and then you're just going to carefully, and I don't think I burnished the edge. It's not easy to burnish this cup because it's kind of squishy, like it bends. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and hold my hand under it while I do this. And we may need to peel this tape a little bit slower just because of the kind of cup it is. And it can tend to want to lift, but we're just going to work our way around real slow. And sometimes just going in a different angle can help too. So if you have a piece that's just refusing to stay down or keeps wanting to lift, like this little circle over here on the edge really doesn't want to stay down. And I think a lot of it is due to the angle that I have to pull and due to the fact that it is so thin. But this stuff is really pretty, and I really love the matte. Now, this is the rose gold in matte, and so it's not as shiny, but it's really pretty. So you can see how easy this is coming off. We've got just a little bit of a oomph coming off here down at the bottom, and I will press that down. Oops. All right, I did get a little wrinkle. Uh-oh, that was my fault. So I'm going to show you guys real quick, a quick trick to fix a wrinkle so I can see right here where it got off. I'm just going to take my pin pen and just push it around my circle until I get it back to where it needs to be. I could easily see where it was too tight on the one edge, and it's just because it lifted a little bit and I didn't notice. So there is the front of our cup. It's really cute. So now we need to do the back, so I'm just going to push this back together. And I'm going to put Olaf right... you don't have to put him right on the back. You can kind of put him wherever you want. I'm going to play around with it for a minute and see where I kind of want to put him. I just got to find his... There he is. I couldn't find him. So you can put him wherever you want. You can put him like to the side if you want. You can make him kind of sideways. You can put him right over where it has the like types. I think that's where I'm going to put him. I think I'm going to put him right over this because I don't really actually use this cup for anything. So we are going to go ahead, and we've again burnished him. So we're just going to pull him off. And again, you want to make sure that you're layering on your product. So I'm just going to make sure that he kind of covers up all the squares, or at least as best we can. There's a little square peeking out, but it's okay. And we'll just put him on there. Now I'm just using my finger right now to press him down. And I'm just going to make sure that he doesn't have any bubbles. He looks pretty good. And then you're going to use your squeegee and burnish him down. Now, when you peel him up, I would recommend going from down here where he is at his thickest versus up here where he's got his little thin lines. So I would always start where they have the thicker part, if possible, because it's going to be a little easier to peel from thick to thin versus from the thin part to the thick part, because you'll see how easy, look at how easy that was. So easy. But I think if I had gone from the top to the bottom, it would have been a little bit more difficult. So now we have to figure out what layers come next, which typically, I believe in this guy, is our white layer. Sometimes it's kind of tough to tell. You just have to kind of piece them together like a puzzle. And Olaf, being that he has a couple colors, is not always the easiest. But I hope you guys can see. Look at how thin those lines are on him. Can you see that? Is that going to focus for you? Those little lines by his feet are itty bitty. And they're so tiny. And it cut perfectly. It cut absolutely beautifully. Now, I am not great at lining Olaf up. I've made him like 12 times and I never get him quite right. I'm always off by just a little bit, but it's okay. I mean, he's kind of a cartoon character, so I don't think it's like the end of the world. And you could use registration marks. I just chose not to for this one. I don't know. I just was not feeling it. Oh dear. No. Well, his eyeballs ripped and stuck, but that was my own fault. So his eyes are going to be a little off, but it's okay. It's fine. His body was like way off on the bottom. So we're going to try to get his top and his bottom to match up. I don't know. That's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. So his eyes are a little off, but it's okay. Nobody's going to notice except me. But again, you can totally use registration marks if that helps you. For me, on something like this, I probably should have used them, but I was lazy and I didn't want to. So next you can do his mouth or his nose or his arms, but it doesn't matter. And I want you to see how little his nose is. Can you see that? It's so tiny. Like, here's the tip of my pin pen, and here is the carrot. Look at that. So little. And again, the Starcraft mat cut beautifully. It's Starcraft HD. It's brand new. I am loving this stuff. So the nose is not always the easiest to line up either, but I'm going to do my best. I did this in a glitter HTV on a sweatshirt for when we went to Disney, and it was amazing. It was so cute. It came out really good. And then we're going to do his mouth, which his mouth is pretty easy because it's kind of big, and his lines are pretty easy to see. The hardest one for me is always his arms and his hair. Now, you could totally skip his arms and his hair if you wanted because it looks fine in black, but we'll go for it. We'll give it a shot. If I screw it up, it's not the end of the world. You could always cut it into 2 pieces too if you felt more confident doing that. Like for me, I'm not super confident putting his face on, but we'll give it a shot. So what you can also do is just fold it over so you're only doing like part of it. So I can just focus on only his hair and his eyebrows, and then we can focus on his arms separately. I know you probably can see the top of my head while I'm doing this. This is not super easy because the black and the brown like have to line up almost perfectly or it doesn't really work. And I'm actually just going to use his eyebrows because his hair is not going to line up perfectly, and it's fine. So we'll just, oops, and his little eyebrow didn't stick. I didn't get that one. Now these ones I'm just doing my finger because I don't want to accidentally damage the cup or the decal with the scraper. So then we're going to do his arms. Like I said, I just did them separately just because it was a kind of a spaced out piece, and I don't like doing these parts. These little skinny ones are really hard for me. I have a heck of a time. So again, I would recommend using registration marks because I didn't, and I'm regretting that. But that's okay. That's good enough. So he's not 100% perfect nor lined up, but that's okay. And again, you totally could have skipped the brown if you wanted to. You don't need it. He looked fine with black arms and black hair, but we'll be correct. So then you're just going to pull off your last piece of transfer tape and just make sure everything looks like it is well stuck down. And look at how cute he is. Guys, there's not a single bubble in him. Not one. He looks amazing. And look at this rose gold. Again, this mat is amazing. That snowflake is so teeny tiny. Again, I held this little snowflake I weeded out. I held it up for you guys in the weeding part, and it's tiny. Like, I feel like I need to give you guys like a visual of how little this is. So that's the tip of my pin pen, and that's the snowflake. Look at how little, so small. This is an amazing product. I hope you guys had a really fun time making this adorable Starbucks mug. Remember, you can be as creative as you want. Use any kind of words that you want, or character or name, or whatever you guys want to do. But I really think that this matte vinyl looks so good with the cup, because the cup isn't glossy, it is matte. And you'll see how easily it applied. There are no bubbles in our character. There are no bubbles along our design either. I am very, very happy, and I really love how this came out. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I am always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and happy crafting.